And welcome to another episode of Exotics Radio Podcast. I am Cracks, your host, and I have a fan going in the background, of course. Of course I would. Now, we do have a special guest tonight. It is ArachnoShack. And now, today, so far, we have Stefan Harop, Mark the Spider Guy, and ArachnoShack, who needs to connect his devices. If you need to connect your phone, if you're on a phone, it'll ask you to connect your webcam or mic. If not, you need to go into your upper right corner, click the little camera icon in the little far corner if you're using, of course, if you're using Chrome. So, eventually, ladies and gentlemen, he'll get on here. He's waiting. Because he has a story. I've come up with a question. I want to hear what happened, so got a little special adventure going on for you. Now he left the... hopefully he'll come back. And if you're also hearing a loop, ArachnoShack, mute YouTube. Oh, I got a little bit of scratch in the back of my throat, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys don't mind. We've got Urban Exotics UK in here as well, saying hi, Cracks, hi, Mark. Now, I hope everybody's I hope everybody had a really good weekend. There we go. Hey, there we go. Hello.
Hello.
I see a ceiling and a forehead. there you are. Oh my gosh, you are alive. You are here. So
I
how
am
are you?
here.
How was your week?
Busy, very, very busy.
Now, I got a couple of questions before we get totally started. First question is, how long have you been keeping?
I've been interested in tarantulas from a very young age. I had my first one bought for me by my father when I was 10. And really from there, the fascination just grew. I'd say I've been seriously growing my collection for the last sort of 18 months to 2 years.
Oh, wow. So, now, my question comes to mind because you just recently uploaded a video of what happened to your blue fang. Did you ever figure out the mystery to that?
I had a few comments on it. I think it may have been mites, but I'm not 100% sure. A few people think that it could have been airflow. So there's a few different theories on it. But then I've got a couple of blue fangs that I keep in the exact same manner, and it only affected one. So I sort of dismissed the setup, the airflow on the setup for a while, but it's still a bit of a mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, could have been constipation. Could have been. Could they've been backed up?
I did think that there was no signs of constipation. I rehydrated them a few times and sort of checked on them over a few days, and touch wood, all seems well.
Oh, nice. So he's pulling out of it. I thought the worst. I'm like, oh no. Oh, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
So how big is your collection? Everybody, that's usually the first question most people ask when they come across to somebody that keeps tarantulas.
I would say I lost count at around 70.
They're just your kids now at that point.
That's it. Yeah. So I can show you around
Yeah, sure.
briefly at the setup that I've got. So I've got shelving over the back part of my bedroom.
Oh
And then
wow, that's really nice.
I've also got another sort of built-in shelving unit there. It's actually like a cupboard that I modified.
That looks really nice.
Yeah, and I've got all the themed lights as well, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, they don't see red, so red is actually a really nice color for them.
Yeah, no, red or blue is where I normally leave it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
now now I've got to ask, what is the craziest story keeping tarantulas?
Craziest story. Ooh.
Yes.
When I got my cobalt blue green form, when I rehoused it, I've actually got a video on it. when I rehoused it, it literally bolted and it jumped out of the tank and onto my dining room table. And I literally freaked, thinking that I was going to have it running around my house. Yeah, I know. It's a full adult female, emerald green form color, and yeah, it was literally on my table. And in the video, you can see me like creeping up with a catch cup, like thinking it's going to run any second. But I managed to catch it and get it into a tank. So, but that was probably one of the sort of scariest moments of having tarantulas, having that loose in my house.
Isn't that like the first go to? Because I think that we all have that, like, oh crap, now I gotta chase it a million miles. That's the first go to thought anytime they escape. Because we all know
Yeah,
how fast they can be, how quick they can just get under the worst spot ever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. This was literally like the blink of an eye. It's gone from the catch cup into the tank and then back out of the tank and halfway across the room, literally in the blink of an eye.
wow. So, how does it feel to be on the radio podcast?
Awesome, yeah. I say I've the first time I heard of the show was when Jay came on last week, and yeah, I absolutely love the show. I've listened back to a couple of them. Yeah, so really happy to be here.
All my mistakes and poor audio. Yeah, that's great. No, I really. The thing is, after May, I won't be able to continue the subscription. So at the beginning of June, at the end of May, I had to remove all of my recordings because the music. I won't have the license for the music anymore.
Okay.
So I'm not even bothering with editing all of that because I just had to take it down in a month. I'm like, really? It's not even worth it. It's like hours of editing. I'm like, yeah, it's not totally not worth it.
Yeah. Oh.
But we are looking for a solution for the music part. Hopefully that we'll get that sorted. Now, do you have any questions being on the show?
So you say that once you lose your license, is this something you're going to continue to do, or are you going to branch out on YouTube and try some different content?
Oh, no, no, no. No, I'm just losing the license to use the music. So basically, you pay Epidemic Sound a monthly payment or a yearly payment, excuse me, and you're able to use their music royalty free. So you don't have to pay the royalty fees because you're already paying them
Okay.
for the license or for leasing of the license. Urban Exotics UK just asked, how do I contact you? You can actually get a hold of me on either Facebook or here. Those are the two places. Or you can catch me on Instagram under oh, heard myself a little bit. Did we
I'm
get
going to
that
set up
fixed?
on my desk,
All right.
so I'm not walking around with my phone. I'm going to get set up and comfy.
That's what today's all about. It's Having a Drink with Me Friday. So you're supposed to kick back, relax with a drink. Usually with an adult beverage of sort, but some people like tea, some people like water.
Yeah, I've just had a coffee.
Hey, coffee's even good. I live in Sweden. Coffee is like the holy grail of every morning. You don't miss the coffee.
I live and die by my coffee. I have to have good coffee.
Now, I do have a couple questions for you, but I was
Yeah.
gonna take a quick break and play some music. The reason why is because the show will only be for an hour and a half tonight. My hours are running out, so I don't want to like go over my hours and then I have to pay for the whole subscription thing because they'll close down the stream and everything. It'll be a mess. And maybe I could and just say that I got held hostage. But anyways, give me a second. I need to refill, and I will play some music for you guys. You guys know what it is. You guys know what time it is. You guys get to listen to some good music, chill out with the best of buddies, and I hope you guys have a good night. So here in a second. welcome back, everybody. I am Craig, your host with ArachnoShack. I hope everybody's doing all right this evening. The room is slowly filling up. We've got a couple of guests who just entered. We've got Mark the Spider Guide, Urban Exotics Radio, or Urban Exotics Radio. Wow, my mind is somewhere else. Urban Exotics UK, John Russell, and Happy and Stefan Harp also says hello. So thank you everybody for being here. I'm glad you made it tonight. I was really concerned. I was like, oh, I lost totally track of time and all the days of the week, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to remind him yesterday. So, how does your family deal with all the spiders?
They actually, the kids love them, and my wife's pretty cool. Actually, she's quite accommodating. As I wanted to grow my collection, she was pretty understanding. She takes an active interest. She actually wants to get her own tarantula, so we're currently looking for a tarantula for my wife. So yeah, we're a house full of spider fans.
That's awesome. Can you adopt me? I'm not. I'm a family. I have families that are all arachnophobes. Now, my next question, this is, I would say this is probably one of the few examples of maybe getting an old world would also be okay with you because you've got the experience where she doesn't, but you'll be with her when it comes to feeding and taking care. Yeah. By all means, I do not suggest getting an old world for a first tarantula, but again, circumstantially, I think it would be okay. Are you thinking about getting her an old world, or are you thinking about getting her something nice and fuzzy and cuddly?
Yeah, probably fuzzy and cuddly. She's got her eyes on a Brachypelma classy. Now, I've actually not got one in my collection at the moment. I'm a sucker for a Brachypelma, but I don't actually have a classy. And she sort of went for a few of the websites and sort of picked the classy out. So we're waiting to see if there are any adult females available. And once we find one, then I'm sure we're going to add to the collection. Well, her collection.
Nice. Now, Stefan Harp asked, "How do you feel about Fatal Fangs?"
I am so excited for Fatal Fangs. Yeah, I work so hard on my clips, and I just can't wait to see the tournament start. I'm actually doing a Fatal Fangs 3 warm-up live stream tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Amy's going to be coming on and having a chat, and I want to try and get people to come on, and we're going to do some like live feeding battles, and some different bits and pieces. There's a couple of little games that I've got planned. I'm doing that on my channel at 8:30 tomorrow.
Now, during the battles, question, does the loser have to eat hot sauce?
I don't actually have any hot sauce in the house, and that's not a cop-out, but every tarantula live stream that I seem to watch is just people eating horrible stuff, and I'm thinking, where's the tarantula content? You're just all eating horrible stuff or doing shots. And
well, then you've got mine where I'm just a blank page with a little picture and a voice. But yeah, no, on the more serious note, I do support Fatal Fangs as well. I think it's a great thing that you guys are getting the whole community involved, and everybody can have a chance at it. So it's totally great. Do you think you have a shot at winning?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I don't want to sound too confident, but no, as I say, I've done something different for my clips. I didn't want to just do straightforward feeding clips. So what I've tried to do is, without giving too much away, I've put a bit of a spin on my clips, and I've done like intros for the actual footage, the feeding footage, and I've sort of gone for like a horror. Is all I can say, really.
So, are you going to start playing Dragula? Am I going to be set up for something like that? Like, you know, I don't know how, I know there's quite a few young guys in the audience, so they probably don't even know who Rob Zombie is. But this is stuff I grew up with.
No, it's not Dracula or Frankenstein themed, but yeah, all I can really say is I've tried to do a horror theme.
And I very nice. Very nice. Like a House of Wax kind of horror theme, or you just don't want to say.
Yeah, I think we should wait for the tournament to start. Yeah, I don't want to give too
Ah,
much.
oh, gosh darn it. I don't want to wait. Patience, people tell me patience is a virtue, and I was like, well, here's my virtue card because I don't have any.
I'm the same. I can be very impatient, definitely, and yeah, I just can't wait for it to start. I can't wait to see people's clips, and yeah, it's going to be awesome.
No, when does it start? For our listeners who are just coming in on the stream, maybe they don't know what Fatal Fangs is. Explain it a little bit more, and then tell us when it starts.
So, Fatal Fangs 3 is a YouTube collaboration between the YouTube community, and I believe it's 64 contestants, and it's a tournament which is basically head-to-head feeding clip battles. So it's knockout rounds. Obviously, you win, you progress to the next round. I believe the first 4 clips are a minute long, and then if you get into the semi-finals and the final, they're 2 minutes long. I believe it's starting. I think it's about 3 weeks from now. Don't quote me on that. But I did see a post from Amy saying that she's got a date in mind, and I believe it's about 3 weeks from now.
Okay. Now, Happy Aunt UK just said, I'm knackered. Knackered?
Knackered.
Knackered. Sorry, I can't stay. Have fun. I might sound a little silly, a little slow, but what is knackered?
Knackered is tired.
Oh, okay. I assumed that much, but I was like, oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong. I do speak English, I promise. But I speak Canadian English, I'm sorry. Our English usually says, hey, what are you doing? Hey! Anytime you want to get somebody's attention in Canada, the first word better be A, or we all know you're not from there. And some people even take it a step further and they'll start with A and then they'll end with A. Hey, what are you doing over there, eh? I'm like, what? Oh yeah, no, it's fun. It was fun when I moved here and being much younger than I am now, and learning another language was something else. But I'm still finding myself seeing terms from other countries, and I'm like, I speak English, but what does that mean? I'm so sorry. I don't want to insult anybody.
So you're currently in Canada, are you? You live in Canada?
No, I live in Sweden.
Oh, Sweden. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a transplant.
How long have you been in Sweden for?
Too long. I've been since I've been here for a very, 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 very long time. Since 15 years old, so I've been here for quite some time.
I've never been to Sweden. Is it nice? Is it a nice place to be?
Depends on what you meaning being nice, and depends on type of year. Right now, we're still getting snowstorms occasionally.
Okay.
But hold on one second. Urban Exotic says, "Cracks English is hard to learn as many type of slang." Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't feel so bad. Thank you, Urban. But yeah, no, we have all kinds of weather here, but we never have really real bad weather. We usually consider real bad weather like this month was I want to say it was probably 13, 15 one day, and the next day it was 2. I'm like, wait, what happened? Can you bring back the other weather?
Yeah, that's similar to what we're having at the moment. It's sort of very up and down, but hopefully a few more weeks it'll start getting a lot better.
Well, let's hope. And then every time it rains, all my slings tend to molt. That is probably the most annoying thing ever, because I get set up, I get ready to feed everybody, and then it will just magically rain that afternoon, and I'm like, no wonder nobody's eating. And I look, and there's molts everywhere, and I'm like, son of a.
So how many?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, go on.
I was going to ask you, has that ever happened to you?
Slings molting when it rains.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think so. No, no.
Well, maybe
With
that's
my
a.
slings, they seem to never molt, but it's probably because I want them to. It just seems like they take forever to molt, but it's because I want them to all grow up.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it takes about 3 years for that to happen. And 3 years goes by so quick because, uh, I've had most of my spiders for 3 or 4 years, and it's like, I can't believe you came in a small, tiny, tiny dram. I needed glasses to see you.
Yeah.
Now look at you.
So,
You're as
how
big as
many
my hand.
tarantulas do you have in your collection?
I have 60.
Cool.
Uh, I went to uni. Was getting my education in living biology, and I started volunteering at the zoo. Uh, we call it a zoo, but it's a reptilian type of center. But back and forth between the zoos and the reptilian center, which also had the invert, and worked with them for a little while, which wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty fun. And then then I left that and decided to do my own thing. Pet Rock and Roll has joined us. Hey, Pet Rock and Roll.
Hey, Amy.
Amy is in the house. She says hi. She made it. Thank you for making it. Appreciate you being here. But other than that, yeah, it wasn't too bad. And I still clung to the loving part of my responsibilities, I guess, when it came to tarantulas. So I was like, I went through a real big fight with some issues, and the doctor said, do something that would make you happy. Absolutely. I was like, and I sat back and go, I haven't handled, well, not handled, but haven't taken care of a tarantula in a while. Well, I'll get one. So I got one. One turned into five. Five turned into 15.
And now you have 60.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
So,
general progression, I think, for tarantula keepers. Just one more, just one more, and before you know it, you've got a room full of them.
we call it the one more disease. Just gotta have one more.
Yeah, just one.
But the others were on sale too.
Yeah, it's can be quite dangerous territory having a look on the websites, just browsing, and then before you know it, you've got spider mail coming.
Now, my question, since UK has broken, now this has been a big thing that I've been trying to figure out is how to send the Brachypelma and Poketheria to the Poketheria. I know I say it wrong. The Pokies. Let's just say Pokies. Send the Pokies and the Brackies to UK because a lot of people live in the UK, but since the exit from the EU,
Yeah,
the EU laws no longer apply. How as you with such a large collection, how is that affecting you, or has it affected you yet?
it. I wouldn't say it's affected me yet, although I did have a look on some websites the other night when I was looking. I was looking to add a few more to the collection and noticed that the Brachypelmas and Pokies, I believe it's a supplier from Northern Ireland, and it's only the Brachypelmas and the Pokies that they can now send out. This was the first that I sort of become aware. I think they call it sites. Is it sites?
Yes. Yep. Sites.
Um, so
The
it's
convention of it's a convention of international trade of endangered species act.
yes. So it hasn't affected me yet, and I've only recently sort of been reading into it. But yeah, as I say, I was looking on a website the other night. I didn't really understand it, so I messaged the guy, and he basically explained it and said, like, because he's in Northern Ireland, he can only send pokies or brackies out. So, as I say, it hasn't affected me yet, but obviously, I think it's going to moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. There are some good UK suppliers, but obviously, I think that's going to it's going to affect their suppliers if they're getting slings from outside of the UK. So it may have an effect on the UK hobby, but it hasn't affected me as of yet.
Because as it was, because I had to consult a lawyer, I had to actually call up a lawyer and pay them for their good time. By the way,
Okay.
my soul died on that bill. When I got that bill back, I was just like, well, I got in the wrong profession. Um, but from what I'm understanding, in Sweden you need at least one permit. That's your business tax, and then you need, if since you're dealing with live animals, you need to get an agriculture permit,
Okay.
wildlife and agriculture permit. So that's two here in Sweden. Then to get on the sites for the endangered species and protected species, because it's not just all endangered; they're also under protection
Hmm.
because of their natural, I think it's their natural habitat under threat or something. Uh, Basically, I need to get a pedigree permit, and that's just for those in EU. I'm talking about just the EU. So I need to get a
Okay.
pedigree permit showing that all of these animals have been captive bred. Now, for outside the EU, I need to get a transfer permit. That means that I actually have to pay somebody to actually carry them physically through customs
Hmm.
to get them checked out and fill out the paperwork. So that's not cheap.
No, I can imagine.
And then on top of that, if you decide to do the what we call the boxes, you need to fill out the what was it? It was something transport permit. So basically, what it is you're paying customs to go through your mail, and you have to get the buyer to sign a license to show permission for them to do so, and then they have to check to make sure you have the other two plus your two base. And each license, so basically, I'm either paying 2 to 3 different licenses depending on where I'm sending it.
Yeah.
Uh, each license cost about 500 kroner, which is about €50 each. And then the initial license is 5,000 kroner, which is the business license. And then the permission, and then I had to pay a 700 kroner, which is $70. So the 5,000 is €500. So basically, you pay out the wazoo for everything, for every animal. No, this is for every animal. This is not just for you're putting 5 brachypelmas of the same species.
It's per specimen.
Each specimen has to be verified.
That's crazy.
So if you're buying tarantulas, my word to you guys is if you're buying tarantulas from overseas, since you're not part of the EU, please get that pedigree that says they are captive bred. Get that. That will save your ass in the future, because it only takes now somebody to call up and say, "Hey, I think they have illegal animals there."
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what are you guys drinking tonight? I'm having a bit of rum. Don't knock my rum. I'm
I've
putting
had
my rum.
coffee. I'm on the hard stuff.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's a tradition where we sit down and drink, and have a relaxing moment, and have a discussion. Now, my question to you is: do you think all of that is overboard, or do you think some of it's needed, or what are your thoughts on everything?
Um, I'm kind of on the fence. I do agree with it. Obviously, people that are serious about collecting and are passionate about the animals, I think it's obviously going to restrict them. But then people that could be abusing the trade, so just to make money, I think part of it does need to be regulated. So I'm kind of on the fence. Obviously, as a collector, I'm quite bummed out that it's going to be harder for me to get the specimens that I want. But I do kind of agree with it to a certain degree for it to be regulated. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence, but as I'm a collector, I'm kind of more towards sort of the sort of collector side of it. It is going to be difficult for people to get the specimens that they want, but I'm hoping that obviously it's going to get more people to breed, within the UK, and for more suppliers to pop up, and for the supply to become better within the UK.
More competition keeps the business going, so they have to
Exactly.
actually do. They actually have to keep their uh, customer service in check. I guess. I guess that's a good way
Yeah.
of calling it. Um, Amy says she thought I would say rum. Am I that easy to read? uh, oh, Urban says they're off. Take care, Urban. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Take care,
It's
guys.
very wonderful you to be here. Now, the thing is, I've heard so many times, why can't the UK get an exemption? Well, it's all under a Treaties Act. So there is no exempt when it comes to a Treaties Act. The treaty is with the EU, not with associated countries. It's with the EU, and that's the biggest problem. It's a lot of red tape. And the laws were made with somebody who did not collect tarantulas or inverts at all. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you realize how many babies Elacidora parahybana have?
Mm,
How about a brachypelma? Just a few hundred. Good luck with that.
just a few
Trying to get
hundred.
a pedigree. That means you have to get a pedigree of basically proof of captive bred for each and every one of those before you can sell them.
It's crazy.
Somebody did not stop to think about that.
No.
And then somebody said, well, just brown box it. Nobody's going to ask. No, I'm not doing that. For one, I don't promote illegal transport, period. That's just, no. Let's just that's not even up for discussion. Number two, the consequences of getting caught is just way too much. Here in Sweden,
Yeah.
I can face up to actual jail time. And not to mention, I would lose my entire collection because then they don't know how I required anything. So I would
Yeah.
just automatically lose everything. And they would treat it like it's all illegal. And even the species that aren't. So let's just not do that. And let alone
No,
the person that
definitely not.
gets and let alone the person that gets caught with the package. They could also lose their collection. So again, no, do things the right way. As I was saying, this is an excuse to get people to pay for me to come visit the UK. Because, if people are so desperate to get, like, a Poketheria, a Regalis, or a P. Regalis, then, you pay for my plane trip, and I'll pay for the rest of them, because that's pretty much what it's going to break even, I promise. I will make no money on it. So yeah, no, it's a friend of mine put it. They said it's about 1,200 to 1,500 kroner per plane ticket to go a round trip to UK from Sweden, which is about 100 to 150 to 200 kroner euro. And I was like, dude, I would be paying almost 150 euro just for the 3 permits together. And that's an automatic thing. I was like, so I would just literally break even across the board.
Mm.
The other 2 licenses are for everything sold in Sweden. So that is a must-have. I can't get around that if I'm going to open a business. But the other 3 are optional. So I would literally just break even. I was like, so I can literally guarantee a live a live delivery. And I think that's kind of where some companies are going to start going, is doing that and actually writing it off as a business transaction, because you can actually get that as a whole deduction here in Sweden, and they
Yeah.
would be able to deduct almost up to 60%. And since I'm leaving the country for more than 48 hours, and I guarantee I'd find some way to find a hotel to stay a little longer, so I can write the whole thing off, up to 60%, of course. So I would be making more money on it than paying the tax on it at the end of the year. So I, as somebody said, yeah, you are getting your money back after you after the tax. It's before
Yeah.
the tax you have to fork out the money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's everybody's taken off. Okay. already said goodbye to Irvin. We have Beth Randall. Beth, hey, how's it going, sweetie? Now, if you don't know who Beth is our local, well, I wouldn't say our local, but she is a groomer. She does wonderful jobs on a lot of puppies. She loves to post them on Facebook, so I'm a huge follower for hers because I just love seeing the puppies. Oh, your phone moved. It moves. It's haunted. It moves on its own.
I should have turned my notifications off.
Whoopsie. Oh, so what is your oldest tarantula? What is the oldest member in your collection?
Probably either my Ace and Marnie, or my Cobalt Blue. I bought them as adults, so I don't know how old they are. Or do you mean the one that I've had for the longest? Or
No, I was just talking about who's the oldest.
yeah, so my adult female, Cereopagopus lividum, my Ace and Marnie. I've got I have to look because I've got so many, I'll almost forget. I've got a Pantherbetus Mashala, adult female. She's a handful. She is a handful, that one. I've got a few sort of younger females, but they're probably the three oldest that I've got. Yeah, probably them three. I have to just look around in case I'm forgetting anyone.
Amy says sorry. That might have been It might have been them. They just shared this and tagged you in it. Well, thank you, thank you, Amy, for sharing the show. I appreciate it. That was very nice of you. But yeah, that was. It's so funny because when people ask me about my collection, they always ask, "Well, how long you've had this one? How long you've had that one?" And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter how long I've had them. It depends on the age, and so.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that irk me. Now, when you order a spider, what is one of the things that irk you?
One of the things that what? Sorry.
Irk you. What get under your skin, like annoy you?
When I order a tarantula.
When you order a tarantula, yeah.
One of the things that get under my skin. Probably having to wait for it to turn up, to be honest.
So everything out of their control. They have no control over that.
But no, probably the price of certain specimens, obviously supply and demand. If there's not a lot around, you end up paying more for them. I recently, well, I say recently, it's probably a few months back now, I bought some Ferrophos and ASP Panamas larva spiders. They are absolutely gorgeous, but they're like gold dust. I think the first time I saw them was a few years back on YouTube on Tom Moran's channel. And I instantly started looking for them, and I managed to find some, but they were like £250 per sling. And I was just like, come on. Yeah. So that can be quite annoying, but I sort of do understand. Obviously, if there's not many available, it is supply and demand. But I luckily found some on Spider's Planet, and I paid £50 each, which is still quite a lot for a sling. But compared to £250, yeah, I mean that's ridiculous money. I know when the Brazilian jewel, I'm not going to say the scientific name because I'll probably butcher it, but the Brazilian jewel, when that sort of first come into the hobby, people were paying thousands of pounds for a sling.
Yep.
It's just so that kind of gets under my skin because obviously want as many spiders as possible, but I don't want to have to pay the earth for them.
You feel your soul die each and every time.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I would, but... and it just hurts to walk away.
Yeah, definitely. But I do understand why. But yeah, it's quite annoying when you sort of see something that you want and then you scroll down and realise that it's way out of the budget.
Now, have you ever sold tarantulas? How are you thinking about getting into selling tarantulas, breeding? Have you thought about any of that?
I've not thought about selling tarantulas, but I definitely want to start breeding. I have got a few pairs that I've bought. I've got some young females, and when they mature, I will be looking for males because it is something that I have always wanted to do. Um, the selling side of it, probably not. I'm sort of quite busy with work. I've got a young family, so I probably wouldn't get into selling tarantulas on a serious note. But if I was breeding, then sort of to friends and people within the community, then yeah, definitely. Because 300 brachypelmas would be lovely, but yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I think as and when I get some successful egg sacs, I don't think I'll be keeping all of them. So they will get passed on, but yeah, I haven't considered it on a serious level,
why
sort of
couldn't I live in
business
the
level.
UK? Because brachypelmas here are pretty hard to find. You actually have to order them out of the country pretty much to get them, unless you want to pay an arm and a leg. They're very expensive here in Sweden. I lucked out and I paid about €15 per brachypelma that I bought.
That's not too
But they were
bad.
slings. But they're slings. So, I mean, like I said, they were really super cheap. But then, of course, if I want to sell them as juveniles, everybody's pricing them up at, €30 or €40. I'm like, dude, that's not that's way too much. Pet Rock and Roll, aka Amy, says, "What is your rarest tarantula in your collection?"
My rarest tarantula. I would probably say my Ferrophosinae SP Panama. Sorry, I have to keep looking because I forget about everyone. Yeah, I would probably say the lava spiders are probably the rarest that I've got at this time.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Now, are you ready for another break?
Yeah,
Get the groove on.
yeah,
Get the
definitely.
groove on. All right,
Get
ladies and
get the tunes
gentlemen.
playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple of newcomers coming in. We have Mr. Gridler's Creatures, Ellie Bug Babies. And I thought I saw somebody else, but I guess that's it. Oh, I see a fuzzy baby. I see a fuzzy baby. I'm gonna
This
gush
is
now.
Mario.
It's so
Yeah,
cute. Oh, it's a little baby.
yeah. This is Mario. My son named him. This is my Hamori.
Oh,
He's
he's so pretty.
yeah, he's juvenile.
That's
So inquisitive. This one. He always comes out. This one. So gentle.
so. Someone's got a fat butt, or like a
Yeah,
fat butt. Can never go wrong with a fat butt.
yeah. Bless
Oh,
him.
such a cutie. Now, are you thinking about expanding your collection into other things other than spiders?
It's not something I've thought about. I did consider a snake, but my wife just put her foot down. She said, "No way."
She let you keep the spiders, but not the snakes.
Yeah, yeah. She literally put her foot down at snakes. She said spiders is fine, but yeah, definitely no snakes. I would love a chameleon,
Yeah.
but it's space. I think to have a proper setup. Oh, I'm going to put you back because you're getting a bit lively.
I'm trying to get it to where. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, gosh dang it. There we go. Nope. That's not what it. Oh, wrong button. No. Okay, that was the biggest I can do. I was trying to get you to. Oh, look at the little toes. Look at the
He's
little
so
toes.
beautiful.
I love the little toes.
Someone looks like they're in pre-molt as well, which is good because it takes him forever.
Well, isn't it known for the brachypelmas to be in the forever molt?
That literally brachypelmas, grammostolas, they literally take forever to do anything, to eat, to molt, to breathe. Literally, they take their time. But it's well worth the wait because they're so gorgeous. Yeah, he's having a right
Uh,
good wander around.
that's so
Are you gonna
cute.
go
Oh, this is
home?
adorable. He's like, oh, I want to go up your arm. You have a dark shirt on. I want to go check that out.
Go on, go back that way. I'm gonna put you away because you're very lively.
And
Mm.
he's like, nope.
He
He
doesn't want to
doesn't
go
want to
back
go.
in there. Go on. Go on.
Ellie Bug Baby says Brachypelma and Grandma Stola, the Grandma, I think she meant Grandma Stola, are not the same. Please don't say that.
They literally take forever. I've got a couple of grammostolas. I've had them for years now, and they seem to have just been the same size as when I bought them. They
Oh wow!
just take
Oh,
forever to do anything.
I was gonna say brace yourself. I don't. I've never ever owned a Grandma Stola.
I've got a what one have I got? It's the Choco Golden there. I'm trying to think of the scientific name. Pulchripes, is it Pulchripes? Grammostola Pulchripes?
I
Golden
believe it
knee,
is
I
poker
think.
piece.
Choco Golden knee.
Not sure. I generally just know. I know them by scientific names. I don't really know them by their common name.
I'm pretty
Except
sure
for the
it is
rosea. Rosea has been drilled in my head. I don't know how many times.
that was my very first tarantula, a roselle. Yeah,
Yes.
female. She was beautiful. I had her when I was 10. But we bought her as an adult, female. I had her for probably about 6, 7 years before she passed.
Oh, 16, 17 years old. Wow, that's old for a spider. Yes, you were right. G poker piece. Grandma stole poker piece. Choco golden knee.
Yeah,
I just want to know who decided to give them their common names, because some of them have almost the same common name, so people get so confused. I'm like, why?
yeah. And there's so many different variants of the common name.
Exactly.
And
That's what I mean.
it just gets
So
so confusing.
I was like, just tell me what it is. Give me give me their scientific name. Oh, now are you going to own any scorpions or anything like that?
Scorpions. Um, Again, I've not really given much thought to scorpions. I'm not sure how I feel about scorpions. I think they're cool. They freak me out a little bit, if I'm honest, because
That's like
they're
most tarantula owners to smooth spiders. It's like they're all
yeah,
spiders. Why are they? Why? But they look different. They look
yeah.
scary. Oh.
They do look very scary.
No, they don't. They look cute. I will argue till the day I die. They're cute. No, are you thinking about maybe owning what is it, the Chinese trapdoor, or maybe the a jumping spider? Have you ever thought
Oh
about doing
yeah,
something like that?
I would love a jumping spider. I don't know why I haven't got one within my collection. I haven't got any trues in my collection at the moment, but a jumping spider would probably be one of the first ones that I would get because they are so cute. They are incredibly cute.
And they're one of the very few inverts that can actually solve problems.
Yeah, they
Their intelligence.
they are fascinating. You can almost see them working stuff out when you look
Yeah,
at them. They're
that
just
that
yeah.
that they're wonderful. I wish I could have one, but believe it or not, in Sweden they've put a lockdown on them because they can become invasive. So they're just like, no,
Okay.
there's certain jumping spiders. So if you want a jumping spider, you can grab one out of the wild, pretty much.
Mm,
Just open your door in the middle of summer, you'll have a couple come in.
yeah.
Is that no? Mind you, I'm joking, of course. I already know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. Is it still considered stealing from the wild if you open your door and they move in?
I would say no. No. Depends how much persuasion there was to get them in, I suppose.
Almost every summer I have to put a lid on my because sometimes the superworms aren't always eaten, and sometimes the small mealworms aren't always eaten. So I kind of have to put a lid on them, and almost every year I always find, especially around summer, I'd be a jumping spider somewhere looking at them like, oh, you're gonna open that, you're gonna open that, you're gonna open that, you're gonna open
Trying to
that.
work out how to get in there.
Exactly, and it's like, go outside. I'm just glad my cats haven't found you yet. Go outside. Yeah, no, it's and the thing is, I always feel bad. So one time it was so hot, I felt bad if I put him outside. He was actually gonna boil to death. I mean, it was so bad outside. It was so hot. So I was like, him and a little friend. I don't know if they were having a standoff. Maybe they were males, and there was a female in the area that I didn't see. I don't know. But I took the two and I put them in dram vials, and I was like, all right, here's a fruit fly, because at the time I was like, I know everybody was praising fruit flies, and it was against my better judgment. By the way, yes, I regretted that judgment, but still the same. I threw a fruit fly in there in each one, and the one I've got on video actually catching the fruit fly, and he was there until nighttime, and of course I released him at nighttime because easier for him. He's not in the sun, because my balcony, man, it faces the sun. It's like all sun. My cats love it. It's just like, oh, it's out. It's morning. I'm like, mm. So I always feel bad in the summertime because it gets so hot outside, and especially when you're pushing 28 degrees outside, and you're like, you don't want to release anything out there, not without water at least or something. But yeah, I put a couple of drops of water. The one drank, but it didn't eat. The other one ate, but didn't really drink anything. So I was like, yeah, here you go. And then, of course, my brother's like, you're not going to keep that, are you? I'm like, dude, I keep tarantulas. I have tarantulas.
This is nothing in comparison.
Oh, well, he's an arachnophobe, so he is. But I can't. The thing is, I have a severe phobia of cockroaches. Everybody knows this. And,
Okay. I
and
have
so I,
a large colony of cockroaches in my bedroom.
oh, nope, nope, nope. If I don't have to see it, I'm fine. But even going to an expo is a bit of an adventure for me because I have to ask the people that are working the expo, where is the feeders, and let me avoid them at all costs because I know what they all have. And so if I find a seller of tarantulas, I'll go to them on the farthest end of the of the building,
Miss
like
out like
away
half
from.
the expo.
Leave them all over there. Don't come near me because it's bad enough because I'll start sweating because I know they're in the building. But the thing is, what I was trying to say is, I can't really pick on my brother for it. I can't really pick on the rest of my family for it because I suffer the same thing. It's just a different animal.
Yeah.
It's all it is. And so I'm really trying hard to get over my fear because a lot of people here, keep cockroaches or they have colonies, and I'm like, oh, no, it just makes me feel all weird. I'm done. I'm done talking about cockroaches. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Creepy and Crawly UK has come in. They're saying
Hey,
hello.
hi.
So we've got, oh yeah. Creepy Crawly said you said True Spider. He's gonna cancel. You've probably listened to my show before. I absolutely do not. I really don't like the term. Mainly because when people say true spider, what is a true spider? A true spider has 8 legs. Well, a tarantula has 8 legs. You mean a smooth spider? A smooth spider is
Smooth
something
spider.
that has evolved from the big fuzzy ones with a little bit more potent venom because of the size. So I just and oddly enough, jumping spider is a type of class to themselves. They're actually more towards the tarantulas that we see.
Yeah.
So I mean, so yeah, just don't just. I'm not gonna lecture everybody that comes on my show about that.
That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't got a smooth spider. I was going to say true spider then. That's why I haven't got a smooth spider. It's something about their makeup that I wouldn't say I've got a phobia, but I I don't mind tarantulas, but the sort of the garden spiders, the smooth spiders that you get, I wouldn't say I'm scared, but I sort of steer away from because they do freak me out a little bit. They're really spindly and sort of they almost look like they're made out of Meccano, if that makes sense. It's like tarantulas are bigger, they're fuzzy. I'm not going to say cuddly because they're not cuddly, but they are a little bit more cuddly looking.
Yes.
When compared to like smooth spiders, some of the smooth spiders look really sort of mean, and that's probably why I've shied away from them. Obviously, jumping spiders, they're adorable. How can you not love a jumping spider?
Yeah, especially when they cock themselves sideways to get a better look in there, because they're
Yeah,
trying to figure out a problem.
yeah. So that is probably the sort of only smooth spider that I would have. I was going to say true spider again. I don't want to get told off.
Yeah, no, it's really it is once you get into the habit of calling some that, but honestly, they evolved from the big fuzzies. They evolved from the
Mm,
tarantulas. So wouldn't that make the tarantula a true spider instead?
yeah, I suppose it would. Yeah,
So, well, it's actually classified as smooth. That the reason why is because it's not as fuzzy. Yes, they have hairs. They're small and they're microscopic. They're not covered in fuzz, of course. But their hairs are to pick up vibrations. They're not, the microscopic hairs are actually meant to pick up vibration. They're not meant to be utilized as a defense.
mm,
One of the reasons why the jumping spider has kept their hair during their evolution series, and I can go on this for days, but it's because they have better sight, but they also can pick up things better. They're
yeah,
made for hunting. They're basically made for hunting things larger than them. It's always funny because you always see these some of these YouTubers, they'll find a jumping spider and think it's hilarious that it's actually trying to take on a roach, twice as big as it, or trying to take on a super worm twice as big as it.
mm,
But the whole point is it's because it's made for that.
yeah,
And if it's too big of a meal, they won't finish the meal. Some speculate that it might be because they take pleasure, but then it goes down to, do they actually have feelings? No.
No.
It's basically movement, just setting off their instincts to hunt again, even though they're not hungry.
Yeah.
And we've all witnessed that when our tarantulas are absolutely full and they're still chewing up the food that we drop there for them. I mean, we call them bottomless pits for a reason.
Mm.
So yeah. Now you know.
So, so your collection. What sort of tarantulas have you got within your collection?
Mostly New World, because I like the
Um,
spiciness. Old Worlds tend to run away and hide, which is sad because the Old Worlds tend to be they don't. I can't really say who's the prettiest when it comes to Old World versus New World, but the Old Worlds that I like to collect are very gorgeous in my eyes, and they all just want to hide. I'm like, oh, really? I got you because you were pretty.
Yeah.
Just show it off a little. I'm okay with that. Let me take a picture. And they're like, no, and they hide, and they're like, done. I'm like, aw. Whereas my New Worlds, they're like, yes, I'll even pose for you as long as you paint me, like those French girls. Just you know, and they do all kinds of weird things. So I just absolutely love my New Worlds because of that.
Yeah.
Also, one of the reasons why I have some Old Worlds is because they've all come in mystery boxes sent to me by fans. Now, do I actually support mystery boxes? It's up to you. It's up to you individually. I'm not going to sit there and say they're bad, especially if you're an experienced keeper. You know what you're getting into. You know what you're going
Yes.
to get. Well, you don't know what you're going to go get, but you know you can handle whatever's sent to you.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't knock it, but I'm not fully supportive of it, especially if you're a new keeper. But
Yeah.
again,
Definitely.
that's up to the person because if they think they're ready, then hopefully they have somebody to help them if they're not. Hopefully.
Mm.
So again, I'll never knock a mystery package. And
No.
to be honest, the ones that were sent to me were quite fun. But they did come with some old worlds. And that's how I got my Darlingy, who passed away of old age. That's how I got my Maridonalus, who surpassed my Darlingy. And I was like, you're a male. Why are you living so much longer than, you haven't even hooked out. Finally, she kicked out a molt that she did not chew up and destroy and come find out she was a girl. I was like, oh, well, that makes total sense now. And I love her because she's got these beautiful striking markings. She always reminds me of a gray leopard, because of the pattern on their
Mm.
abdomen. And then I have my Regalis. I have two of them, one rescue and one absolutely I fell in love with. When I got him in a mystery box, when I got Izzy in the mystery box, I was jumping up and down and running through the halls. My brother's like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I got a Regalis." He goes, "Oh God!" He goes, "Is that the spider?" And I was like, "The one I had in the very beginning." He goes, "Oh, no, we're good. Is it gonna get that big?" And I'm like, "No, maybe, I don't know. If it's a boy, no." And he goes, "It better be a boy." And then my boy turns out 17 plus, and he's like, "It's too big. It's too big." I'm like, "Well, you don't even like the little ones, so you can't even say that." And then he just runs away. It's great. I get my whole room to myself. I don't have to argue. It's a great deterrent. So, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, if you have a sibling who bothers you, get tarantulas.
Yeah. Definitely.
They will leave you alone. And the people you want around will stick around. Hey, Lincoln, how's it going? Lincoln has just arrived. So yeah, that's my collection. I mostly have new worlds with some old worlds. I do have. I did think when I started getting back into tarantulas, I did want to get into the dwarfs, because they were just so fascinating. They were so little,
Mm.
and so I was thinking, dwarf, dwarf species. And I was like, oh, I found two dwarves, and they were, one was Heterothele Velocilla. I had to stop and think about which one it was. And then the my Houdini, which is my Colombian large, my Hapalopus Colombian large.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved him. But I also got a Elegans I can't think of the first part of
Okay.
the name. Unfortunately,
Sirio Cosmos, I think it is.
Pseudococcus. Yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
weird name.
I'm not going to butcher
Uh,
it.
yeah, same here. I called her my heart butt spider.
Heart butt,
Um,
yeah.
but unfortunately, during sling phase, they had molted and they had a bad molt and they split their abdomen open on the side.
Oh,
I was devastated after that, and it just reminded me that you could do everything right, but there's many things out of your control
yeah,
when it comes to, especially when it comes to slings. So
yeah,
that gutted
definitely.
me for a little while.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a bit Amelia recently, juvenile that had a bad molt. She got stuck, and by the time I found her, yeah, she'd passed, unfortunately. And you sort of question yourself: Have I done everything correct, or was it my fault? Have I done something that I shouldn't have done? But I think it is one of those things that comes with keeping spiders, unfortunately.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Um, and the thing is, you get so attached, especially when they're
yeah,
slings, because they look so cute. So it just makes the impact so much worse.
yeah.
But then you have to remind yourself this is out of your control. There's nothing you could have done. It happens, especially when they're slings. If
Mm,
things like that didn't happen, there wouldn't be a need to have so many babies.
exactly. Yeah.
So I was just asked, so Cracks, do you think you're Snow White now? And as I said, no, I'm the evil witch. I have creepy crawlies. I don't have birds, and I don't sing. H- HD Arachnids has also snuck in. Hey HD, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great start off to the weekend. It is Friday. I'm excited.
Thank
Yay!
goodness it's Friday.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Um, I just started dieting, so tomorrow I get to have real food on the weekend. So I'm like, I get to have a meal. I get to have a full meal. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna have? I think I might have spaghetti. And then I'm like,
Mm,
no, I want chicken. And I'm like, no, I want turkey. And I'm like, I have to go through all my head and go, okay, next weekend you can do whatever you want. This weekend you have to pick three foods. Which three are you gonna eat? Dang. HD says lurking. I speak English. Gosh dang it. And Mark goes, no, definitely Snow White. I'm afraid to ask why I'm Snow White. You okay?
yeah, I'm fine.
Wrong pipe.
Yeah.
I'll tell you like I tell my brother, drinks are made for drinking, not inhaling. And then I usually get something thrown at me. So, and you know when my brother's in a good mood or bad mood, the softer the object that he throws means he's in a good mood. The harder it gets, it means so. Either way, I just dodge because I don't know where it's gonna hit. So, anyways, I'm trying to think of more questions. I had a whole list, and then I got into doing some artwork upon request, and I lost my list. So I'm like, I'm floundering here. I'm a little lost.
What sort of artwork you into? Painting or?
Yes, I do digital art. I
Okay.
do. I tried to do well. I do comic as well as realism, but the realism is animals only. I don't like people, so I'm not going to paint people. I don't like landscapes that much, so I'm not going to paint landscapes. I tried that once, and it just wasn't my thing. It wasn't really something that clicked. So I really do like my animals. I love my animals, so animals only. But what I also do is, like I said, comic, and my comics are a silly cat that's into all kinds of antics, and it's modeled after my cats. So that's kind of art I do.
That's awesome. How many cats do you have?
Three.
I'm a massive cat fan myself. My furry
Oh,
babies.
really?
Yeah. We currently
Voices?
have currently have a cat. Um, yeah, he's beautiful, but he's mischievous. very mischievous. He attacks my feet during the night. He gets up on me and like slaps my face to try and wake me up. He's a real character.
Mark the Spider Guy says he loves cats too. So
Yeah, cats
apparently,
are awesome.
cats are great. Except for mine. Mine are just three little demons that are complete. I'm just gonna say the A word. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you hear this, I apologize. They're complete assholes. Um, Opening doors for my neighbors, letting my neighbors in the house, in the literal fashion. Opening my neighbors' doors when I'm not paying attention, and neither of them. Opening my bedroom door, opening up my, my brother suffers from asthma, so he takes the bedroom most of the time. Uh, so he goes in there and he'll go to sleep, and my cats are like, "Oh, the door's open." And if the door's closed, they'll open it right up. We had to actually install childproof locks so they could stop going into the bedroom. And
Cat proof
instead of
lock.
doing
That's
that,
brilliant.
they just hit the handle up and down all night. So you hear for hours, and it's like, that is not your play toy, but they think it is. They think it's absolutely their play toy. Um, I once had to replace all of my plates. My cats have decided to learn how to open up the cabinets, and you know how glasses come to. They didn't go for the glasses, which was one shelf above the plates. They went for the plates one shelf below, of course, the shelf that they can reach. And they're just like I can hear it too. It's like this little scratch of the surface, and then it just this really loud bang, and I'm like, what in the world was that? Because I was watching TV in the living room. I come out and it's my cats and they're pushing the plates, and I'm like, really? That's what you guys do? So I took them down and I put away the mess, and I'm like, okay, they got into the cabinets. How am I going to keep them out? So the next day, I go to work. I was delivery driver that day. I come home and all of my plates were out and busted. I'm like,
Yeah,
yep,
they're
that's it.
very mischievous.
Yeah, no, I think they have I think cats have a specific school that they go to just to learn how to be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Now, HD Arachna says they can't do cats. Little buggers are way too destructive. But they do have a 150-pound dog, though.
that's a big
150
dog.
pounds. 75 kilo. Holy cow. Or roughly 75. That is a large. That's about the size of a human. That's huge. What kind of dog is that? Now I just have to ask, what kind of dog is that? Uh,
I would guess Great Dane. They're huge, aren't they? The Great Danes.
well, there's also the sheepdog,
Huskies.
the big sheepdog I'm thinking of. Oh, they're gray and white. And they're walking fluff balls.
Oh, what
You
the
can't really see the face.
Huskies?
Not husky. This is the sheepdog. That's twice the size of a husky. Tony's tarantulas also just walked in. Whoa, I'm 120 kilos, and hi everyone. So yeah, hi Tony. So now, do you have any plans for your room? Do you have any plans for the future of your room?
Um, yeah, space-wise, I think I'm running out of space. But I have got plenty of available slots on the shelving that I've already got. So it's probably as and when people grow, just get them into new enclosures and start filling them empty gaps. I have to be careful because my daughter is she's 2.5, and that's why I've not got anything sort of lower down. But when she gets a little bit older, I'll start moving stuff down and sort of getting some better enclosures and some better acrylic or glass enclosures, because I'd say 90% of my collection are in sort of plastic containers or containers that I bought from Amazon, sort of modified.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'd be really nice as and when they sort of start getting bigger to get some like Exo Terras and some nicer display cases. But as far as the room goes, I think I'm kind of at my limit for space for what my wife will allow me anyway.
Yeah, no, I absolutely understand you. No, I'm pretty much just waiting for mine to grow up, fill out the gaps, because a lot of them are in nanos, exoterra nanos. But I know in probably 6 months from now or so they're gonna need something bigger, which is kind
Yeah.
of sad because I know that means they're getting older. But
Mm.
it's also kind of a relief because once they're that big, then I'm like, here's your food. I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Unless you
But
do something weird, and hey, I'm gonna take some pictures.
yeah. But yeah, I think I need to be responsible. I mean, I'd love to go out and buy a load more tarantulas and fill them gaps. But obviously, as everyone starts getting bigger, then space becomes an issue. So I've sort of put the brakes on a little bit with any new specimens. I've sort of added a few here and there, but I'm sort of just trying to ease off the gas a little bit because everyone is going to get bigger at some point.
Now you mentioned that you have a 2 year old. Is she allowed in the spider room with you or
She
with you
is,
guys, or is
yeah,
she?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
She is.
great.
Yeah, I've got a 2-year-old daughter called Willow, and I've also got a 6-year-old son, and he takes an interest in spiders. He comes and helps me do feed-ins, and yeah, he's very much involved.
That's great. Because I know some families are like, well, they're too young. They want to wait, and
Yeah,
then they can't understand why their kid has some hesitation later on. It's like, well,
yeah,
you kind of put them off to the side and didn't allow them to get involved.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, my son, he's held a few of my brachypelmas. I say
oh, nice.
he's absolutely fascinated. He's definitely got the bug for it. Obviously, where my daughter's a little bit younger, that's why I've not had anything on the lower shelves. I've sort of child-proofed the spider room, so to speak. But obviously, when she gets older and realizes that she can't open the tanks up, and that she can sort of understand why, then I can start sort of moving them down. But yeah, she's absolutely fascinated. She comes in, I sort of pick her up and show her around the room, and yeah, they're both absolutely fascinated with them. So it's nice that they share the interest.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm glad you have a very loving and supporting family, and this isn't just your thing, and everybody avoids dad's cave, kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's actually really nice. Because I can tell you when the family doesn't really support the hobby, it gets a little rough sometimes.
yeah,
That's something a lot of keepers I guess don't really want to talk about. Is the struggle with your loved one and your hobby of something that you really love. And I would never ever give up my hobby for these, of loving these guys for anyone. I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's just, um,
Spiders
so
come first.
absolutely. They were my responsibility before I met anybody. Same with my cats. Sorry, they were here first. If you don't like them, you
They'll
gotta
al-
go.
they'll always be the babies, won't they?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, it's funny because I'm talking to absolutely deaf creatures that have no ears, cannot hear me, anything I say. But I'm sitting there talking to them like they can. I'm having full on conversations with them too. Like, why are
They're
you
re-
at the top? Why are you trying to come out? Why don't you go down and get your food? Especially my arboreals. They're like, oh, the lid's open. Gotta go up there. I'm like, oh, stop that. Go back down.
oh dear.
Now, do you keep too many old worlds? Because I know you, like you said, you have young children. I know some people who collect tarantulas. Try to slow down on the old worlds because of family members being so young.
I do have quite a few old worlds, but I'm very careful. So my cobalt blue is in a an M design container that I bought from Amazon. So it's just a clear, really clear like acrylic plastic
Yeah.
storage container with a hinge lid. But I've actually drilled a hole through the lid and the front of the enclosure, and I've got reusable cable ties through them, so they are secured, and they are
Oh,
on the higher shelves also. That is something that does play on my mind, having young children. So anything that needs extra security has got extra security.
no, no, it's That's always nice. But I'm always curious because people have their different methods in different ways. So I'm always curious on what
Yeah,
everybody's different methods are on securing your animals. For me, because I have pets, believe it or not, they're in a the most dangerous one I have is the S-Cal. I think their venom is a little more potent than the pokies. And so they have tape on the top side of the lid, which, by the way,
yeah.
they have figured out how to chew through, and I found out that that can actually get pretty toxic for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have actually started like taping down pieces of fabric
Mm-hmm.
and keeping down the whole lid. Now I've noticed they're starting to pull the through the hole. They're starting, breathing holes. They're starting to pull the fabric. I'm like, yeah, you can have that. You can't have the tape. But he's a male, and of course I have girls in the room, so he's trying to get out.
He's desperate to get out.
Yes, he wants to get out, and he's hooked out, which is makes it so bad. I'm like, oh, and the thing is, he was such a fat boy, and now he's like this skinny, thin, because he hasn't. I think he's ate twice in a year.
Yeah.
He's going. He's on his way out, and it breaks my heart.
Mm.
But will I get another Eskel? Absolutely not. He came in a mystery box. Yeah, no, that was. But because I have cats and the payload on the bite, I know how much pain it'll put me through, but I know it can actually
Yeah,
kill my cats. So
yeah,
I'm like
definitely.
very extra careful with that. And the cats aren't allowed in the room, so that's bottom
Yeah.
line. Tony Stretchel says, luckily my kids are old enough to know what a what a pokey is.
I haven't
Nice.
got that pleasure at the moment. We're almost there, but
Almost.
almost. But even in a few years' time, when the kids are old enough to know that they shouldn't touch them, I probably won't back off the extra sort of security measures, just in case one was to get out. The last thing you want to be doing is searching your house for an old world tarantula. I mean,
You
I
think?
love tarantulas, but if my cobalt blue got out, I would probably move out if I couldn't find it. Even though I love tarantulas, I would probably move house.
That's not a surprise you want in the first thing in the morning. It'd be like sit down in your chair, put your arm down. You're kind of relaxing over the table. You got your cup of coffee just next to you, and the next thing you know, you feel a pair of fangs just take a bite out of you. You're like, really, really? And I'll tell you, getting bit by an old world is not fun. I know from experience that it's absolutely
Oh, okay.
horrific. Yeah, no, I got bit by a P. Metallica.
Wow.
That was not fun.
Was that during a rehousing?
No, actually, that was me doing something stupid at the zoo. They had a communal donated to them. Let me track back. Okay, they had a communal, and many of the tarantulas that they had been donated to them. So they created this big, beautiful. Well, it's not really that big. It was big enough for them not to get territorial, but it was big enough for everybody to live in.
Yeah.
It was very pretty. But we had one dominant female that was actually into cannibalism. So later she got rehoused, and then the community just got broken up because we didn't want to continue because of the threatened species.
Hmm.
Didn't want to risk it. But the thing is with a zoo, most people don't realize that they're really ran on a budget. So if they're outside their budget, they have to take measures. But anyways, I was cleaning your enclosure, and another thing most people don't realize that why all of the enclosures look brand new, brand spanking new, is because they're clean daily. It puts a lot of stress on the animal, but they have to be clean. People don't pay to see the poo on the glass. They don't pay to see the poo or the leftover food in the water dish. But what I mean, all of that has to be washed. So what you do is you take a soft bristle toothbrush, and you can actually scrub with a bit of water the cork bark. She was up but above. She was not down in her cork bark like she was supposed to be. And I was thinking, I'll just be really quick about it. There's my biggest, dumbest mistake ever. Long story short, she nailed me. And that was because I wasn't paying attention, even though my hands were in an old world enclosure, and I knew she was out. She was above my hand when she was out, but I didn't think she would actually try to take a chunk out of me. I'm too big.
Mm.
And I was making a lot of like movements and shit. So I thought, excuse the language. So I didn't think she would actually do anything. And sure enough,
Mm.
she did. And she got me with one fang, and it actually I have the scar, and it got me pretty good. It got me pretty deep. Now, I think the biggest thing when I got bit was not to panic. That's the first thing your mind just wants to go into overload and be like you want to put on try to get around your wrist. You can't really do that. That's not feasible. You don't want to lose the limb. This is a spider bite, not like you have like a snake bite that's going to kill you within
Mm.
minutes kind of thing. And again, that was extremely painful. And I'm pretty sure if somebody handed me a gun when the pain hit, I probably would have ended myself just to end the pain because it was
That
bad.
bad.
Yeah, it will. Most people would describe it like their hand or fingers or whatever just got crushed, and you kind of feel like your bones are just getting shattered inside your hand. At least that for me,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. And then that pain just radiates, goes down, and as the venom travels, you can feel the venom traveling, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse until you hit about the 2 hour mark, and then it will be there, but it'll come and go. It'll be there, come and go, and morphine doesn't touch it. Morphine will not make it go away.
Okay. Yeah,
So that's why.
that sounds pretty rough.
Well, that's why they give you strong painkillers, and they send you on your way home. But since this was at a zoo, it was at an actual place, and this was at a they never really dealt with an old world bite, so they didn't really know the effects. And I'm allergic to bees, so I'm not really allergic to bees. I have a high sensitivity to most venom, but because I had medical issues, so they kept me overnight. And I tell you what, that was one of the worst nights of my life. That was not fun. I would never recommend
Mm.
that to anybody.
No, definitely
And
not.
but yeah, the swelling is almost instantaneously. And one thing that nobody talks about in bite reports is the amount of blood you lose. You lose a lot of blood. It just keeps bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, especially if it's really deep. You just it's like the pain doesn't stop until like or the bleeding doesn't stop for like 4 or 5 hours. It's just like it just keeps going and going and going.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. So like I said, it's not something I would recommend, and I would definitely never ask anybody to stick their hands. And that's one of the reasons why I'm hugely against old world handling. I'm against handling in general, but when it's done safely, like with the table and stuff like that, that's fine. But I'm talking about when you're carrying the tarantula just around the room, and I'm like, dude, you
Yeah.
realize they could bolt and you could drop them, and
Game
seriously,
over. Yeah.
exactly.
I'm gonna grab my charger because my phone's beeping at me.
Well, we're not going to be on here for too much longer. We are coming up on our 1.5 hour mark, and due to Wednesday's long show, unfortunately, this show is going to be cut a little bit short. But yeah, again, I would never recommend getting bit by an old world. And when you see people handling it just to get clout for views and clicks, don't do it. Just
No.
pass the video. Don't even click on the video. Just pass the video. Because I'm just like, dude. And if they get bit, I hate to say it, I'm gonna laugh. I'm really gonna laugh because you deserved it.
Yeah. There's one that I saw recently of a guy antagonising an OBT, laughing, poking it, and it gets him in the wrist, and he cries like a baby, and I was in pieces. Just yeah, absolute fits of laughter. You completely deserved it.
I
But
hope he
yeah,
never does that again. I'm
no,
sure he won't. I
he
mean,
probably
well,
won't.
actually, well, the thing is, he might because he first did not have the scruples to think this is an OBT. They don't
Yeah.
call it the orange bitey thing for nothing, and they don't. I call it the orange boxing trainer, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
true.
the tarantula won on that occasion, which was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. It's something else. OBTs are bad enough. I've seen the swelling on those. That's gnarly. That's something. And not to mention they don't have small fangs.
No, no. I recently rehoused a couple of my young juveniles, unsexed OBTs. I think every time I rehouse an OBT, I sort of really do panic, thinking this is going to go horribly wrong. But I rehoused two, no issues. I think I had one threat posture, and they were absolutely fine. I've actually got a video that I'm working on at the moment. I'm in the process of editing, so that'll be on my channel probably next week.
Yep.
Um, but a really really smooth double OBT rehousing, which was nice.
Oh wow. No, Tony's tarantulas calls it the pokey confidence. After you get bit, you get used to the rehousing them and stuff. Let's hope you never get bit.
I'm yet to be bitten by a tarantula.
Better knock on some wood.
Yeah.
Because watch this, you'll be doing a Fatal Fangs video. Next thing you know, you're bit. If that
Yeah,
happens, you can always blame this. You can always say that this on this show you called it.
you hexed me.
That would be me. But no. So do you have any questions? We're about to wrap things up. Do you have any questions or anything?
I don't think so. No. No. Have you got any plans for any future guests, or have you got any plans for any future content you're thinking about doing? Maybe stuff that you haven't done before.
You know, that's the thing. Running a podcast, it's really hard to find things that you haven't done because a podcast basically entails that you sit down and you talk. When there's 100 followers, I will do a face reveal. I'll get made up. I'll put on the makeup. I'll put on a corset and all that good stuff. I'll be a good girl and look pretty. But I will come on and do a face reveal. That's at 100. At 500, I will eat the spiciest chip ever in all of mankind. Live here on
You heard it here,
on
guys.
YouTube.
If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We want to see some spicy chip eating.
And then that's pretty much what I have. In the making, it's just trying to get that 100 subscribers, that first 100. That seems like the subscribes go up, and then the next day they immediately go away. I'm like, oh.
I definitely feel your pain. I only recently managed to break through 100. I think I'm on about 109, 110, but it seemed like a lifetime. You sort of crawl towards the first 100.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be a little bit disheartening at times, but I think that's just the way it is. So how many subscribers are you currently on?
Last time I checked, I'm 176.
So not too far away.
No. But it just it was. I think there was one show we jumped up to almost. Well, not almost. We jumped up to 81 followers. The very next day, I kid you not, we were down to 76.
Strange.
No, well, the people that subscribed, because sometimes it'll come in your subscribe feed, especially in your email. Most of them were gamers, so I'm gonna guess that either that they jumped on and wanted me to subscribe back, or but I'm not because I'm not into gaming. I'm into tarantulas. And I think that's probably what it was. It was gamers. One was a weird Russian site, or Russian YouTube. I couldn't understand any of it. I was like, yeah, but I'm sorry. And like I said, it was just a really weird night. But yeah, it can get pretty disheartening. It was like,
Yeah.
well, why did you subscribe in the first place? But other than that, yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah.
I did, but the slow growth is a little, like you said, disheartening. It can be rough, but I think that's what makes you.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna have to stick to this, or you're gonna have to find something different.
Yeah. don't get disheartened. Your show's awesome. Your content's awesome. I'm
Well,
sure your subscribers will go up.
I'm a huge fan of yours, especially after the explanation of the blue fang, because you're like, because I guess it showed that you're not owning a tarantula isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's actually, this is stuff that we actually have to deal with. We come
Yeah.
down with situations we have no clue what happened,
No.
and we all take it personally because we all love that animal. So it's like,
Yeah.
we know and understand that it depends on us to give it the best care. So you're thinking in the
Exactly.
back of your head, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this right? Did I do that right?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Did I do something wrong? What did I do
Yeah.
wrong? Yeah, don't beat yourself up about it.
Mm.
Like I said, there's a lot of things about keeping tarantulas that get out of our control. But there are a lot of instances where we have to buckle down, swallow our pride, and learn from too. If you screw up, you screw up, and you learn not to do that again. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, before we get going, is there any? Mark the Spider Guy says I got a bit of rehousing P.D. Webster's Iringi. Good luck.
Yeah. Definitely good luck for that one.
Mark, my heart goes out to you. I will pray.
They're crossed.
Oh, Mark says, I've seen your face. Yes, yes, I do. I have a few photos of my Instagram up, but I've yet to reveal my face to YouTube. So there. But I think we're going to just wrap it up now, unless there's something else you want to talk about.
No, it's cool. Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
Oh,
just keep on with the content. It's awesome.
No, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it when people come on the show. It's fun to basically have a nice chat. It's fun to have a drink, your coffee, my rum. And it's really fun to get the audience involved. And we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, which happens to be tarantulas. Just saying.
Doesn't get much better, does it?
Mark says they've gotten bitten by it.
Oh.
When was this, Mark? Now is the question. When did you get bit? Was it tonight or was it a year ago? Oh my gosh. Oh, now we wait. We got this slight awkward silence while we wait for Mark to answer. Mark is an absolute legend. If you have questions, go to Mark. Mark has I would say he's like the UK version. Oh, a few weeks ago. Good luck with that, Mark. I'm almost afraid. What is her name? Because I have Slapper. Slapper's name for a reason. But anyways, as I was saying, Mark is like the UK version of Tom Moran. Him and Peter Webster. Is it Peter? I think it's Peter. Everybody's names are so... I need faces. Yes. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. There you have it. Definitely go and... so if you have any questions, definitely talk to Mark. He's also very open about answering, so immediately. I know Ellie was having issues, so I was giving some advice to Ellie. Ellie was also getting advice from Mark. So Ellie's baby was a little bit, what do you call it? Having issues. That's a good way of putting it. Anyways, I'm rambling. We're going to get going. I do this. I'll just turn in my woman card now and I will leave. All right, take care. Thank you so much for being on the show. I had such a good time.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Yeah, and thanks for being on. I'm waving at you like you can actually see me. Take care.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed to the show, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, stick around for more shows like this if you like so. And if you don't, I'm sorry, this is what we do here. As per tradition, we've got one last song to be played, and we will be playing it right as we speak.